This video is for individuals that are 18 years old and above. If you are a child, you need to get out of this video right now. And if you're an adult listening to this video and you have a child, you need to ask the child to leave the room. This video will deal with topics that are meant for adults only. Today I am talking about sex. Talking about sex, that word that runs the world. Sex and money are the most divisive tools on the earth. Sex and money are also the very thing that brings individuals together. Some exchange one for the other, but this video is not about the exchange of money for sex. It is about the natural, beautiful, creative energy of sex. And this video is going to address issues that relate to men and women. So while I believe that it is very important to be inclusive of everybody, this one is particularly talking to men who love women. Not to the exclusion of anyone else, but this is what I want to talk about because this is what I know. I don't know anything about any other kinds of sex. I know that they're there, but I can't speak in detail about them because it is not to my understanding. And I will not apologize for speaking openly of sex between men and women. And I hope and trust there isn't someone out there that's going to tell me that I can't talk about my sexual orientation without offending anybody else. Now, I was thinking recently about how amazing God is. Whoever you perceive God to be, I think that creative energy is just awesome. When He created the man and the woman and all the parts that, He designed, how they serve their different purposes or they have different functions. But when it comes to the man and the woman coming together as a unit, what an awesome thing. If you are a man that loves a woman and you really stop and think about the power of sex, you can't deny that is an awesome thing. It is awesome. It's beyond, words. And the power that sex has in the world, you'd be surprised. People die for it. Strong men get weak. Weak men get strong because of sex. And the woman knows the kind of power that she wields. But, some women, because some women, if they recognize the power of the vagina, they really wouldn't do some of the things that they do. First of all, women, if you recognize the power you carry with just this ability to create life, out of this vagina comes life, you really would place more emphasis and value on yourselves. You wouldn't allow men to use you, and you wouldn't, sell yourself short. Let's talk about the physical act. A man gets an erection when he looks at a woman, when he thinks of a woman, when he, just imagine making love to that woman. He doesn't even have to touch her for his phallic symbol to become hard. And the woman has the same ability too. She could just look at a man, she could just think of somebody that she loves, and her body is prepared for this sexual encounter. But what I find amazing, if a man and a woman, in the throes of passion, decides that they're going to have sexual intercourse, and the man inserts his penis inside the vagina, they don't just lay down there and they don't tell themselves, okay, I'm going to move. It's just a natural thing. It's like a key going into a door, the hole of that door. And when you put that key in, you don't just stick it into the door and let it sit there. You turn that key. Well, that's how the body works. The man inserts his penis into the lady's vagina and they start gyrating. And it's nothing. They don't have to think about it. It's just this natural thing. It's like a machine. And when you put in the right part, when you put the penis inside that vagina, all of a sudden the machine starts to move. Oh my goodness. And at the end of that passion and ecstasy, he releases semen that goes to fertilize a woman's egg if she's at that time in the month when she can become pregnant. How can we look at sex as something that, nilly willy and play with it like it's a powerful thing? It's one of the most powerful things. Anything that can create life and bring forth life is powerful. Men, I know you love sex. I mean, any woman who thinks that, a man's desire is only going to be towards her is kind of stupid. Because I think men are not really made. They're like, we are all animals, but men are not made to just really be with one woman. It is self-control that allows him to do that. It is not an easy thing for a man to stay faithful. It isn't easy because, the way he's wired, the way he's made, so if he's going to stay with one woman, be faithful with that one woman, really, woman, you're going to have to do a lot of work, and you're going to have to try to understand that, a man is going to have desires, and sometimes he might have feelings for another woman. Doesn't mean that he doesn't love you, but in terms of the physical, when he looks at another female, he's gonna have feelings to that person. Nothing is wrong with that. It's when you cross the line, when you have those feelings, when you need to satisfy that sexual desire outside of your relationship. That's when it gets a little bit questionable. For example, I don't want my husband to just look at me and think I'm the only person who is attractive and beautiful. No. I don't mind if he thinks another woman is beautiful. And I don't mind if a woman lusts after my man. I have no problems with that. She is a female and she might see him and be attracted to him for whatever reason. Now, her desire for him has nothing to do with me or my husband. Is when he reciprocates those feelings, when she makes her intention known, and then he falls in line with it and decide that he wants to find out what it's like to be with this woman. That is where I have a problem. So if she desires my man, I can't help that. That's her thing. And if my husband sees her and finds her attractive, I can't help that. But what I have a problem with is if he decides that for sex he's willing to jeopardize our relationship. Because men have fantasies, ladies. Don't even think for a moment that when he's making love to you, that he does not have ideas in his mind about other women. Some of you women think about other men, but men will, get their mojo on thinking about a beautiful woman or sex. You want him to think about you. But, I can't control what goes on in his mind. And if he has a fantasy that allows him to make good love to me, I have no problems with that. I only have a problem with him crossing that line. Because I feel as a woman, you're supposed to make your man want you. That's your job. Your job is to try to entice him and try to be open. Not be so close-minded, because some men are in relationships where the woman is so holy and she's so, perfect in herself that, she becomes very boring. And so her man has to have ideas about other women. I mean, in terms of wanting to go satisfy those desires. Men are sexual beings. People on a whole, human beings are sexual beings. Animals, we all have that in common. We all need and desire sex. So every animal you can think of, they are going to have sex. It is what it is. Now they're trying to teach children about sex in school, and just talking online here to my subscribers and future subscribers about sex might possibly be a problem with some people. Yet they want to introduce sex to my little children in school, which I think is wrong, because I think it's very important for us to let kids have their innocence for as long as it is possible to do so. But I don't know what the purpose or the agenda for that is. I just know that children should be, minds should stay sacred for as long as they can possibly keep their innocence. But we're talking about adult male and female relationship here, in the sense that as a straight woman I can't talk about any other person's sex. I don't know what it's like to be a lesbian, and I don't know what it's like to be a gay man. And power to everybody. Wherever you find love, you go seek love wherever you want love. But for me personally, sex is this amazingly unifying force that brings people places. I mean, the act, I mean, if you can't see how incredible God is, that he creates man with the ability to bring about such pleasure, and to be able, out of that pleasure comes forth life. It's so exciting. It's so exciting. Men, we know that some of you have voracious appetite for sex, and it's something that is wired in your brain. You can't really help it. There ain't nothing wrong in being a sexual man. Find yourself a woman who is able to satisfy those desires. There are women who can keep up with you. You really don't have to have 10 women, even though the desire is there to be with 10 women. But search. Don't just rush into a relationship with somebody. If you see a woman, she's a prude and she's in her church, and she doesn't even want to have sex because the pastor convinced her that sex is this little dirty thing, and she's going to be the bride of Christ. I've said that before. Don't go with that lady. Find a woman who doesn't mind, backing it up, and spreading her legs as far as you want her to spread them, and dropping it like it's hot. If that's what you want, be honest with yourself. Women, be honest with yourself. If you're a person who doesn't really like sex, you could do with sex once a year. Find a man who is like, almost impotent, and he will just be able to satisfy you once a year. That's who you find. This is the problem with people, that we try to get into relationships with people that are just not right for us, and then we end up saying that they're wicked and they're evil, and some relationship, individuals are not open to certain things, and so there's a conflict. But sex is a beautiful thing, especially when you love each other, and especially when you make a connection that is deeper than just the physical. It's awesome. Sex is beautiful. It's lovely. It is one of those most amazing things. And I'm knowing I'm not preaching to the men here, because, you guys know it, that some of you eat, sleep, dream about sex. And it's a good thing. I would encourage you to recognize the power that you carry within your loins, and that it doesn't just give physical pleasure to a woman, but it creates life, and so you have to use it responsibly. Love the one you're with. Get involved with people that you know what, I don't know what the future holds, but in the long run, this is who I want to be with. Someone who is going to satisfy my needs. Ask those questions. Ask a woman, exactly what do you want? What kind of pleasure do you want? What do you want in bed? Talk about sex. It's not dirty. It's not, uncomfortable. It's when you don't have those conversations before you get married that it becomes this kind of gray area. Women What do you want? What kind of fantasies do you have? Tell it to the man that you're with and find out what his fantasies are. And if his fantasies are out there, he's somebody who wants to be tied up and whipped, and you know that you don't want something like that, you move on to the next guy that meets your fantasy. In the meantime, people, God created us and he brought us together for his purpose. And out of our union comes beautiful pleasure and life. Enjoy each other. Be open minded. Love. Let love be the reason why you get together, why you share this very deep spiritual part of yourself with another person. And when you meet that special individual, let go, let your guards down, enjoy sex to the maximum, and then do it again. Think on these things, everybody. Be blessed.